Um, so first off, again, just want to thank everyone for taking your time to be with us today. Excuse me, we're really looking forward to the 2022 season getting started, and talking about some of the courses that we have upcoming, and then just a few other things about the season. A lot of you that have done it before will find familiar, but we do have a lot of new folks that are interested in becoming part of the team. So we're excited to have you. Welcome. And if there are any questions throughout today, feel free to answer or ask them. You can unmute yourself and ask them. You can also type them into the chat function within Zoom, and we'll be able to answer them. So whatever way is convenient. And then I guess just again, I said it earlier, but those of you who might not have heard it initially when we got on, if you have used Zoom before, if you can make sure you mute yourself in the lower left. If you haven't, if you could do that, that would be helpful, just so we don't have any background noise. If we do hear your dog barking in the background, we will mute you though. So although we would love to hear it, it does create some distractions sometimes. And so yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and get started. I just have a couple introductions that I want to do to kind of get started. So I know, for the folks that have been doing this for a while, I think you know who I am. You know who Theodore Russo is, who's been on our team now for a little over a year. But we do have a new addition to the GAM staff that a lot of you do know about, but I did want to formally introduce Hunter Cook as our course rating coordinator. So he was a volunteer previously and is now a GAM staff member. So welcome to Hunter. I don't know, Hunter, if you want to say a few quick things, but I know we're excited to have you.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of you on the call have rated with me before, but I'm just excited to get going, and we're already doing some exciting things to get ready for the season. And I know for all of the new raters that are online, I've been going back and forth with you to get you all set up, and I'll be talking to you a lot more as we get to the new rater session next week. But overall, I'm just excited and ready to see this season really kick off and get going. So
all right. And Theodore, I don't want to leave you out there. Do you want to say a quick hi to everyone? I know I will say Theodore is going to be involved with course rating still, but not as much as he has been in the past. He's going to be focusing more on our new member club initiative and getting more golf clubs involved with the GAM, which will mean more rating opportunities for us. So Theodore, if you want to say a quick hello to the group, that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Hello, everybody. Good to see everybody's faces again, or at least know that you're with us here on Zoom. Excited to get these discussions going again, and always have loved helping out with course rating, and I'm excited to keep doing and working with our team to advance the GAM in every way. So.
All right, and then the last introduction I'll do, Lori, I'll put you on the spot here a little bit, but I would like to introduce Lori Puska. She's our chairman of our GAM Course Rating Committee. And if Lori, if you want to say just a quick few words, that'd be great. Just so.
Oh, just hello. Looking forward to another wonderful year this year, and we do have some exciting things going on. Yeah, and glad that this training was wonderful last year that Kyle and Theodore did, and I think it's a wonderful refresher for those who are more seasoned, if you will, and I think, but still you can still learn something. I mean, every time I read the book or look through, it seems like something else stands out. So, and then for those of you who are new, it's a nice way to get acclimated, if you will. So welcome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Lori. And I think I lied already I think Mark Ultima is on the line as well. I would like to introduce him as well. He's the president of the Golf Association of Michigan, and I know a lot of you know him from rating. He is our most dedicated course rater and expert trainer. And Mark, I don't know if you're able to say a quick few words, but if you can, that'd be great.
Sure. Good morning. It's happy to be with you guys. Fantastic to see almost 60 raters with us this morning. We really appreciate the work that Kyle, Theodore, and Hunter are putting in preparation for the season. It's going to be a great season. We'll all have a blast. Thank you.
All right. All right. So this is really I know a lot of folks have seen this video before. I'm not going to play it because we'll play it. I'm sure at our intro trainings and things like that. But if you really want to get a good idea of what course rating is, or want to try to explain it to someone, this video here, and I'll shoot the link in the chat so people can view it at a later time if they want. But it's a really good video that the USGA has put together that kind of goes over what course rating is, why we do it, why it's important, and ultimately what it does for golfers. And I know a lot of you, know about like the course rating from posting scores and having a handicap, and that really what we do here is at the center of what the GAM does in terms of offering handicap services to courses and golfers across the state, and really does a lot of great things for the game of golf. So I'm not going to play it today because I know about half of you on the call have probably seen it 3 times. But I would recommend all the new folks to watch it. I'm sure Hunter will play it during the training session that he does in next week. So, but check it out for all the new folks out there. It's a good kind of intro video, and it's also on our volunteer website as well. All right. So, what is course rating? Course rating does serve as the basis for the World Handicap System, which is used not only here in the United States, but also across the world. And this course rating system that we administer is used everywhere. And this system has been in place here in the US since I think we started rating in '83. There might be 1 or 2 folks on the call. I don't know if Gene's on the call, but have a few folks that have been rating since 1983 and are still doing it. So it's been around for a while, but it does update. And we have a book that we'll kind of go over here in a second that kind of walks us through the process. But basically what it is, it's put in there to create fair and equal play so that golfers across wherever they play can compete on an equitable basis using the handicap system. And it's for golfers, for golf courses to be able to run their events, leagues, etc. I know a lot of you have interacted with that, and it really, again, and I know a lot of you have heard me say this before, but it really is the core component that the GAM does, and the reason that we operate here in the state is to provide the handicap system. And if we didn't have course rating, we wouldn't be able to have gambling on the golf course, which is the most important thing to so many people when they get out and play every morning. So all kidding aside, it is very important for golfers and really does help them enjoy the game so much more. We also, starting in 2020, as part of our course rating process, we also provide or can provide a recommendation to the golf course for their stroke index allocation, which is a new USGA term for handicap holes. So as part of our work that we do, it generates a recommendation for golf courses for men and women, and that is also important, obviously, for events and matches and things like that. This is a new service that we started in 2020. We've had a lot of good interaction with courses on it, and it's been good for us to be able to recommend that, because I know that a lot of the captains on the call have had this conversation so many times prior, where it's like, well, when do I get my handicap holes? What that a lot of people thought that was part of the process, when it really wasn't. Before, we were there to help them to make recommendations, but there wasn't really a set system. Now we have that within our database based on the course rating data that we collect when we're out there on the golf course. So courses need to get re-rated every 10 years to stay in compliance with USGA and RNA World Handicap System standards. And then we also, if we have a new golf course, it needs to be rated every 5 years. So if we have a course like American Dunes that was, completely brand new, you might have a course that was modified a little bit. That may not necessarily qualify as a quote unquote new course. If you had modifications to maybe a couple holes, that wouldn't be. But if we have a completely new course, that would need to get done every 5 years. And the reason for that is that typically when you have a new course design, a lot of things change in the first year or first handful of years. The club courses get a lot of feedback from golfers on maybe where they want to put the tees, playing conditions, maybe to grow up rough or cut down heather, things like that. So there are a lot more changes in a newer golf course than you would see in an established one. So every 10 years we go back to the courses, and then the new course is 5, and we ask them to get re-rated so they can continue to stay in compliance, so that golfers can post their scores and they can use the World Handicap System there at their golf course. When we do rating, we rate during our active posting season, which is April to October. So April 1 to October 31st. That's the time frame in which we do all of our rating, and that just is in line with because this is generated and done to help with score posting. We want to do the activity, the actual rating in the time when scores can be posted. And obviously, if you go to a golf course in March compared to July, it is a lot different. And one of the things that we have to do when we're out there rating is to keep in mind what the book tells us, and the book tells us to rate according to mid-season conditions. So we have to also keep that in mind. We might be at a golf course in April, but we have to think about it or imagine what it would be like in July. And that really comes more into play if you have trees with leaves, maybe lack of leaves, growth of grasses, heather. And this is all stuff that our captains, which I'll go over here in a second, they work with the course to find out, and then we'll let all of our team know, but it's something to keep in the back of your mind. So what tees do we rate? We will rate every tee at the golf course. So for men, we'll rate every single tee that's out there up to or anything longer than 3,000 yards for 18 holes. And then for women, we'll rate every tee up to 6,000 yards for women. And then we'll do a computer rating for tees that are a little bit longer than 6,000 yards, so that golfers can post their scores. And the reason that we have a kind of default stance on which tees to rate is that we don't want to get into the I guess discussion with courses and letting them pick and choose what tees they want, because we want every golfer to be able to post their score when they go to play a golf course, regardless of what tee they're playing, what gender they are. And that's kind of been the national movement to go towards that. The USGA is even starting this year requiring us to do computer rates for tees up to 6,500 yards. To allow golfers who play those longer tees, even though it's not a ton of them, to be able to post their score. And so we want to make sure that golfers can post their scores, and we're working through that. We don't have that at all of our golf courses currently, but we started this probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer in some parts of the state. And we're really looking to get every tee. So whether it's the very forward tee that the 80-year-old golfer is now playing, that would, in 10 years ago, they would have never dreamed that that would have been the case. We're going to rate it, get it a course and slope rating so that people can post their score. And then a lot of times we have courses that do a combo or a hybrid tee. And that is just an example. It's a set combination where you might play the white tees on holes 4, 7, 9, 12, 15, 16, and 18, and then the blue tees on all the other holes. And that's something that the course can put together and recommend for us. And we can put a rating together for them for that. All that combo and hybrid tee work doesn't need to be done out on the golf course. It can all be done in the computer program that we use. And that can be done at any point in time. So a lot of times our captains will recognize a gap in the tee distances and will make recommendations. I know Mark Erickson, one of our captains, does that a lot, and a lot of the courses appreciate that. So that's another service that we can provide. It doesn't necessarily need to be on that 10-year re-rate timeframe when we're out there at the golf course. All right. So really quickly though, I did want to go over. I didn't put a slide in here, but I just want to go over. I know a lot of you know about how our process works. Our captains. We do have captains or team leaders that oversee certain regions of the state, and they kind of are the main person on site dealing with the golf course, interacting with the volunteers and the team, and we'll get all the sheets and get everyone informed and ready to go. So those of you who have done this before know we have a good amount of captains. So I would encourage you for the new folks, when you come out to do a training or you come out to a rating, maybe you're in a region where you haven't done before, introduce yourself to the captain. We really appreciate the work that they do, and they want to get to know you, especially the new folks and folks that might be rating out of region. So definitely recommend that. And our captains are kind of the point people to ask questions and get as many of the answers as possible. So, all right, so expectations. Obviously, we want this to be a fun process. It is important process, definitely, because of how it impacts score posting and the handicap system. But we do want it to be fun. We want it to be interactive. I know that for me personally, when I'm out rating, I enjoy the interaction with raters. I enjoy getting to make jokes back and forth with like Marv and other folks that we can make fun of each other, and it's a fun time. So I'd encourage you to do that, to have fun, make it fun. But again, it is something that is important. So we do want you to study and learn. So there are some resources that we'll make available for training over the winter. There's the course rating guide that if you don't have, as a new person, you'll definitely want to get this. You'll need this to be a rater, so you can get it on our volunteer website, and Hunter will go over that next week. But if I've been on our volunteer website, you can go on there and get it and get it paid for, and we can ship it to you. But it's a great resource to have. And as I always say, if you're looking if you're having a hard time sleeping, you can pull this out at night and start reading it. It'll put you to sleep right away. But it is important to have it. So definitely, get that, read that. Like Lori said earlier, every time I read it, there's something new that I look at it and it's like, I didn't really think about it that way, or I didn't really read it or understand it fully the way before. So just constantly rereading that and getting up to date is very important. We do also require all of our raters to be GAM members. All of our volunteers, whether they're our tournament volunteers or our course rating volunteers, do need to be GAM members. We believe that it's important that they understand why we're out here, what our mission is, and our purpose for doing all of our activities. So if you're not renewed for the upcoming season, 2022 season, make sure you do that, or contact your club if you get it through your club. Make sure they have you as active, so you can participate. And then a few other things. Obviously, we like you to post scores. The more people that post their scores in Michigan, the better. Just a quick tidbit: we did have a record number of scores posted last year for GAM members. We had over 2 million, which is the most we've ever had by a lot. It was actually in 2020, we had over 50% increase in scores posted. In 2022, we had actually a 31% increase in scores posted. So more and more people are wanting to get a handicap, USGA handicap. And we encourage you to post your scores when you play and establish a handicap. Also, it's helpful for the end of the year Raider Appreciation Day, so you can have that good handicap and win all the prizes. So make sure you do that. And then we also, as many of you know, there are hundreds of golf courses across Michigan, and we only have about 12 or so GAM staff members. So we can't be everywhere at all times. And a lot of times, when we're at course rating or when you're out playing, if there's things that you see that, might not be correct, maybe after you get done rating and you get done playing, after you're done with your rating, you notice that the tees, when you go to post a score, are the wrong colors or things like that. Let us know things like that so we can get them right, because we want to get them right. We do our best to keep everything updated and as accurate as possible, but with 600 plus so rated golf courses in the state, we don't necessarily always hear from people exactly when they make changes. So if you do notice anything, maybe tees on the scorecard that aren't in the system when you go to post, let us know so we can get with the golf staff there and get it rectified. Or if we need to send a rating team out to get it done, we can do that as well. And we also have the GAM volunteer clothing that you can order on the volunteer website as well. So for those of you that don't, or that are new, you'll want to do that too. I know Hunter will talk about that next week as well. And then, as always, we're always looking to improve and get your feedback. And we want to make the program as best as it can be for our volunteers. And then also just want to do the best job we can to represent the USGA here in the state of Michigan and make sure that our rating process is the best that it can be. And I know that for a lot of folks that have done this, I think that our system is very robust, and that Mark Boltman and his leadership over the years have really been instrumental in keeping us at the highest achievement level across other golf associations across the country. So we do have it is something that we take great pride in, that we want to do a good job, and we want everything to be as accurate as possible. So never be afraid to ask questions when you're out there talking with the people that have done it before. We really we want to make it a enjoyable experience, but we also want to get things right. So for our training, we are doing a slew of different training activities. So we'll be doing our weekly Thursday training sessions at 10 throughout the end of March. And what we'll do, just like we did last year, for those of you that were able to make it, we'll just go right through the guide and just go through, each section and just cover the things that are listed in there, adjustments, table values, how the whole process works. And we'll go right through, and you'll have the ability to ask questions. We'll provide examples when we can. We'll try to make the training as interactive as possible as it can be in winter on Zoom. But I will say that these training sessions that we do, we did get some good feedback last year. So for those of you that are new, these training sessions are going to be a lot of information. So we do recommend that you read as much as you can before, if you do attend them, and you can also, we will also record all these sessions and make them available afterwards for you to view. So even if you might not get a ton out of it the first time, or maybe you can't make it, you can watch it later on, or maybe later in the summer. You want to look back and say, well, how does this, how do we do this obstacle? They'll be available for you to view as well at that point. We'll also be doing some on-demand training when possible. So that could be, maybe you want to do or get some more help, maybe a one-on-one session with Hunter via Zoom, or if you have questions with we could hook you up with a captain, and they could definitely help you out, answer some questions that you might have. If you prefer that more one-on-one interaction, we'd be happy to set that up. And we also do on the job training. So we'll be doing that once the weather gets better here in Michigan, but we'll be doing basically last year we did, I think, 3, at least in the Metro Detroit-ish area. And then we did some other trainings in other places as part of rates, but we like to do training sessions that are specific to just training. So we'll take you out on a golf course after a little bit of inside discussion and go do 3 holes, and we can do it at a really slow pace because we'll use the last 3 holes of the golf course, so the golfers won't be rushing us, and we can go through a lot of different things, answer a lot of questions, and you'll be with a lot of people in similar setting that are new, that are getting trained. So we'll have a lot of opportunities. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but we'll have opportunities for that, for you to take part in those. And then we'll also continue to do training for those folks that want it and need it on site at rates as well. So it could be, shadowing a rater when you're out there, seeing what he or she does when they're filling out their Form 1, which is the form that we'll show you more about in the future on what to fill, how to get the numbers to put in there. So it could be shadowing. It could be once you get to a point where you're able to, take your Form 1, but you might need some assistance getting the numbers. We'll have someone, an experienced person with you to help you answer any questions, or to just be there to make sure that you're getting things right when you're out there. So we're definitely there to help. We have a great group of trainers that help us, that have been doing this for many years. And there will be lots of training opportunities if you're interested. So I guess really quickly before we get into the schedule, I think one of the things that we just want to be upfront about when we are talking about course rating is just understanding exactly what it is. We do get a lot of new folks that think course rating is more what Gene Myers used to call course ranking, where you see like publications like Golf Week, Golf Digest do. We're out there. There's an actual book. There's a process that goes into it. It's very objective, and it is a set of code and rules and things that you do need to learn to apply. It's not just going out and playing, although we do play as part of the process. It's not completely plain. That's just the process to really verify what we measured and gathered out there, and then to make sure we didn't miss anything. So typically how it works is we will go out in the morning and we'll do our rating, and then after we're done with the rating, we'll have lunch that the GAM will provide, and then in the afternoon you'll have the opportunity to play, with a few minor exceptions. If we have courses that are being completely redone, like last year we did the South course at Oakland Hills, and the course wasn't open yet to the members, so we definitely weren't going to be playing before that. So there are some exceptions to that, but typically after lunch we'll go out and play. And again, the playing is recommended by the book, and it is to make sure we don't miss anything. And also just to confirm some things, maybe some adjustments around the greens, things like that. and you'll get, more familiar with that. But it is a great perk of being a course rating volunteer. But it is not the only thing that we do. It's not the only reason that we're out there. So. All right, so 2022 schedule here. Just a couple notes. As I know, Theodore is working hard on getting a lot of new member clubs, so we're going to be, hopefully doing a lot of those early on in the season and late in the season, depending on when they end up joining. But we are going to, leave a little bit of room early in the scheduling process for these new member clubs to get them up and going, so we can get their ratings active and golfers can start posting scores as soon as possible at these courses. We've also seen a lot of construction at golf courses recently because the economy has been good. There's been a lot of golf going on, so courses have a little bit more money now to spend on some projects they might have been putting off for a handful of time. So we will see a handful of courses that might pop up on the list that aren't currently on the list now because they're under construction or they're going to be doing some things. So this list here that we're about to show you is just kind of the starting point. It'll definitely increase. There'll be more courses on here. There might be a few of these that might come off of it, depending on if they might have a project planned for this fall and we might delay a year or something like that. So this is kind of our starting point. And once we do start scheduling, which we typically start scheduling towards the end of February and early March, we will put them up on the volunteer website and you'll be able to register for them there. And we'll talk more about that process once we get closer to it. But here's kind of a list you can see on the page here. We do have some that are these NM are non-member clubs. So we do have a couple that we still need to get to be members in order for us to be able to rate them, but we're pretty excited about what we have coming up. And as you can see, there's a lot of courses, not just the, private country clubs that everyone's heard of. We've got all sorts of courses, and we really, go through the same process with them, regardless whether it's Oakland Hills or, Oakland Hills and Battle Creek. We treat them the same. The rating process is the same. And we expect all of our raters to participate equally at courses and not cherry pick the good ones. And our captains do a really good job of making sure that the folks that are loyal and go to all the courses are there, not just the people that try to cherry pick the private country clubs. So the other thing too, when we're going through the scheduling process, we do, from our standpoint, from the staffing standpoint, we make sure that we're not overlapping in certain areas that might have shared raters. But you as a rater, you're able to volunteer in any region that you'd like, but preference is given to people that are local. But if you have an interest in rating in the UP, or maybe you want to go to Southwest Michigan to rate, if there's spots available, you have the ability to rate wherever you want to go. We have lots of folks that like to go across the state and rate with different captains and different teams and see different types of golf courses, and that's great. And it really helps us keep all of us calibrated as well, so that everyone is doing the exact same process across the entire state. So encourage you to sign up for as many as you can do. Once we get the schedule up and everything scheduled, it'll for those folks that might still be working a little bit, if you can make a handful while you're still working, that's great. And then once you do retire, if you choose to retire, you'll be able to participate even more. But we'd love to have people involved at the ones that will work in their schedule. But there are going to be cases for some that we do have more people that are interested in spots that are available. It's typically at a given golf course, we'll have anywhere from 8 to 16 spots, depending on how many tees there are at the golf course. So, there could be the scenario where there's 30 people that want to do this rating, and we might, and at that case, the captain will, pick and choose who's going to be there based on their region, skill level, not years of service, things like that. All right, and then I think just last thing, like I said, we are going to continue to try to add to this list. This is just a starting list. I know Theo's Theo's committed to getting us at least how many more, Theo? 14 more, right? Or we can fire you. That's
Yeah, about 14 or 15 more to go.
Okay.
Kyle, if I can jump in for 10 seconds here.
Yeah.
Kyle's reiterated it before, but our volunteers and all of you are a huge part of what we do. And if you do go to courses, again, I can't emphasize enough, and you can't post your scores, and we know they might not be a GAM member club, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. We want to get as many people involved as we can with the good stuff we do. Thanks, Kyle.
All right. So the other thing we were kind of talking about it. The last thing I had to talk about today is really just the scheduling process. Like I said, we'll start scheduling, and once it gets available up on the website, we will send that out to you. We are currently evaluating. I know for those of you that have done it in the past, through the GAM website, you log into your GAM profile, and then there's a section for volunteer, course rating volunteer, to get you into the page. We are potentially looking at a different alternative to that, but it's looking more likely like we'll continue to do registration through the GAM website and your GAM profile on the GAM website. So I know for those of you that are new, if you haven't done that before, feel free to reach out to one of us to get more information on how to get in to view the schedule or the sign up section, and also some resources on our volunteer page. But once we get those scheduled here in the next couple months, we will definitely get that up there and get information out on how to do it for those folks that haven't signed up before. All right, Theo, I took you off the list here, but I'm going to throw, if you want to throw your contact information in the chat, that'd be great. But if we'll kind of open, I don't know, Hunter, if you had anything else you wanted to add, but if there's any questions that anyone has, I'd be happy to take them. If anyone wants to, anyone has anything to say, that'd be great.
Can I just punch in? This is Mark. A couple of things to add emphasis to what you just mentioned to us there, Kyle. First of all, our representation as the GAM 2 member courses, I like to use the word, we are the ambassadors of GAM at these courses. Being an ambassador means that you need to be on that course and speaking positively about that course. We've had issues in the past where there's been a derogatory comment made at a golf course. It gets back to the professional general manager or ownership. That's a cast of bad light on the GAM. So always speak in positive terms when you're at golf courses. And then in terms of training, we're excited about the training that's going to be coming up throughout this spring. We will have regional locations. Hunter and Kyle and Theodore and I are going to be working on those in February and where those locations will be. But we're looking forward to offering rookie rater or training sessions for first year and second year folks, and then refresher courses for other more experienced course raters as they come through. So it's going to be an exciting year. We've got a lot to look forward to. We're really excited about the new opportunities with raters that are just signing up. And I just want to re-mention what Kyle indicated, that if you've begun to read the book, which is extremely important, sometimes tedious, but mentally apply golf common sense to what it is you're reading there. If you get stuck on something, contact one of the triumvirates there at the office, or a captain that's listed in our, I believe our contact information is all there as well. So we're really looking forward to an exciting year, and great to have you all aboard. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate that. We did have a couple of questions come in. Let me, there was a question, is there a requirement to how many courses we need to rate yearly to be a part of the team? There is not. We have found that, if you can try to commit to doing 3 to 5 a year, that'll keep you fresh and, understanding of what's going on. But if you can only make it out to 1 or 2 because you're working or there's other things going on, we'd still love to have you out there. But typically, if you can do 3 to 5, that historically has been kind of the point where it sticks a little bit more. And that might not always be the case because in your neck of the woods, there might only be 3 courses that, for the year, because our schedule fluctuates so much on different things that happen. And then in turn, there was a question about the cost. There's the only cost really to participate is to be a GAM member if you're not already. And then there's a course rating guide that costs $24, and it's good for, this one should be good through the 2023 season, so good for another couple of years. And then there's some volunteer clothing that you can that we ask you to get. So a shirt is kind of the minimum for that. But like I said, you're able to, we do provide lunch. That's all taken care of. You'll have the opportunity to play golf after as well. All right. A few other ones here. When you have multiple raters at a course, do they all play 18 holes? Yep, good question. So one of the things I didn't mention, when we are doing rating, we typically, in most cases, will only rate 9 holes. We'll have a team that'll go out in the front 9, a team that'll go on the back 9. It could be different based on if we have a 27-hole course, it might be rating 13 holes and 14 holes for one group, or you might be in an area where we don't have a lot of raters, so you might have to rate 18 holes. We try to avoid that when possible, but sometimes it happens. But when we do go to play, typically it'll be playing 18 holes. But if you can only play 9, that's fine as well. There's a
Kyle,
question. Yeah.
Oops. Just to follow up on that for a second, we've had some conversation about playing 9 or 18, which is fine if you choose or are unable to play that day. Become the GAM policy that we do not ask for. Sometimes we receive rain checks if the weather is terrible or something like that, and or the course might be closed in the afternoon. But we have the course for the day. A rain check then is inappropriate to play some subsequent day. So we get the course the day that we're rating, and we play on that afternoon. You can choose to play 9 or 18, or you can choose not to play at all.
Looks like there was a question about a roster by region. One of the things we are looking to do this year is to put together a more robust database for our captains to use to contact out by region. So that'll be one of the things we're doing, but we don't, per GAM policy, provide other GAM members' contact information to other GAM members without their consent. So we wouldn't necessarily send a list of rater information or contact to other raters, but we are going to try to target some messaging to people in areas where they want to rate, so they're not getting blasted by all my emails and all the emails that Hunter will be sending. There was a question, it looks like Mike or Connie answered it, but I'll just read it out to to the group as well. The ratings take place only Monday to Friday. Yes, that's correct. We only rate Monday to Friday. Typically the days of the week, that's a good, we didn't really get to that, but the days of the week that we really leave up to the golf course. We let them decide what's best for them. So in some areas of the state, it's Friday mornings, and others it's Tuesdays, it's Wednesdays. It just varies. We also, make sure that we get dates where our teams can be there. But we really kind of leave that up to the course to decide, but it is Monday to Friday. So if you still have a 9-to-5 job, it probably you might hopefully you can make it to 1 or 2 if you have some flexibility in your schedule, but we don't do it on weekends. There was a question about golfers who play different tees or like a combination. So one of the things that we do, if there is a combo or a hybrid tee, it's not something that the golfer can recommend or can ask us for. It does need to be endorsed by the golf course. So you would need to reach out to the golf course. The golf course would need to reach out to us, and we get those requests a lot, maybe 5 or so a year. And we just always encourage them to go talk to the manager, the head pro, and ask he or she to reach out to us to see if they could get it in the system. And a lot of times they'll say, yeah, that's great, and they'll encourage other people to play it because it might be a gap on their scorecard that a lot of people in similar skill set or similar age would be interested in playing. There's a map on the GAM website showing region breakdowns. For the captains and our regions, it's a little different than what we have on our website. Our website's a little bit larger base, but basically, in terms of the region, I mean, you're able to rate in whatever region you'd like, but we have Mark, you'll have to correct me if I don't get this right, but we have Southwest, West Central, West Michigan Central, and then we have Northwest. We've got Northern, Northeast, and then we have Central, Mid Michigan ish, and then we have 2 in Metro Detroit. There's another question. Does the rater play the tees that? Yeah. So when you go out and play, you can pick and choose whatever tee you want to play. But when you rate, you'll be assigned to a specific tee. So Lori will have, Lori might have the ladies green tee, and I might have the ladies gold tee, and Hunter might have the men's white tee. But we'll all be assigned to a specific tee when we're out there rating, and we don't necessarily do it 100% based on your gender. So if you're a male, you might not always do a male tee. In the book, you'll see there are some slight differences in some of the obstacles for men and women. So you'll need to be aware of what gender you're doing out there, but it's not specifically tied to what gender you are, because we want all of our raters to be able to rate for both men and women out there. And as you'll see, as you'll learn in the rating process, you're not your game, your skill is not really involved in the rating process. It's just all straight from the book, with a few minor things that are a little bit more subjective. When we do, another good question. When we do rate, we do take carts, provided that the golf course allows us. There's maybe one situation a year where we don't have the option to take a golf cart, but there's 99 times out of 100 we do.
And Kyle, if I could add, I mean, we do take carts out, but there is a lot of walking involved while you're out there, because you're walking around, you're taking measurements, you're looking at things, you're getting out of your cart and going to the tee and looking at the hole, and then you're getting out and measuring things, and then around the greens. So we do take carts, but there is walking involved.
Yeah, good point. Yes, you'll definitely, as Lori said, you'll definitely be getting around, and I usually get my close to 10,000 steps in when I'm doing a rating. So
I was just thinking the same thing. I definitely get my steps in on rating days.
Hey Kyle, this is John. I just had a personal experience about a session that we were not able to take carts because the course there'd been some major changes to the course, and they didn't have carts out on the turf. And having rated I don't know, a dozen times or so prior to that using carts, I was a little bit worried about walking, and it actually was a very good experience, walking and rating. And honestly, I believe the rate went a little faster without the cart. So if you get an opportunity to do a rate, and it is a walking rate, and you're able to physically do it, it's a really good experience.
yeah, I think last year we actually had two of them, or kind of maybe 1.5. But yeah, no, it definitely is. It's different, but it's a good experience, like you said, John. There was a question about some tools to have for somebody that might be a little new to it. Yes, you'll need to have a rangefinder. We're in the process of hopefully continuing our relationship with Bushnell that we had last year, but we'll have more information about that. There's some issues that we need to work on from an accounting standpoint, from their team and our team, to make it possible again for this year. But you also want to have this, like we tell, and Hunter, I know Hunter will go over this in the new training session, but make sure you bring a pencil, make sure you bring your weather appropriate gear, whether it's a hat and gloves, rain gear, sunscreen, pullovers, whatever you need to bring to face the elements, whatever the elements are going to be that day. And then you'll also want to bring your guide with you. You'll need that. And there are a few other things that I'm sure that some other folks will chime in if I'm forgetting them, but those are kind of the basic things that you'll need. Bring your clubs too, so you can play when you're done.
Mike put something in the response there in the chat, Kyle, about a GPS unit too.
Yeah,
Trying to get to an approximate yardage, the GPS units help.
definitely. Yeah, so there was a good question about when the ratings from when we do our work are updated. So we typically leave that option up to the golf course. So when we do rate and we get the results back, and then they're entered in the system, we give the results back to the golf course and then give them the option to pick when they want to activate them. But our default option is to activate them on April 1st for the following upcoming season. And the majority of the courses do that, prefer that, so they can get their scorecards updated over the winter. And they'd rather not do that mid-season, but there are some courses that choose to do it mid-season. It really just varies. But to answer specifically, John, to answer your question, Garland will go into effect, I believe, April 1st, maybe a tad bit earlier. I had a good chat with Dave yesterday, so we're getting closer to getting those all finalized.
Hey Kyle, this is Brian. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I noticed last year when I did the course rating, I noticed some of the raters had different kind of shoes on. I had golf shoes on, and I noticed I was leaving larger imprints in, because we were doing it earlier, I was leaving larger imprints in the greens, and I was wondering, do anybody have an indication of the shoes that they had on, and where can you get them from?
Yeah, I think you might be talking about like the plastic duck boot type things that some of the captains I know, Mark Erickson, I know you have those. If you want to chime in if you can. If you're still there.
I found that in the morning that it's often very wet out when we go out. And I've found that the Crocs are actually a nice foot attire, if you will. They don't leave deep imprints on the greens and around, but they do have a little bit of tread, so you're not going to slip. And your feet just don't get wet. I mean, I know a lot of the shoes are waterproof, but I don't know. I think they've just really come in handy. So they stay in my car now. I mean, they're part of my rating bag, if you will, that I take everywhere. So that's just one thought, you know, because they are kind of flat on the bottom. They don't leave deep imprints, and hopefully, oh my gosh, Mark Baltimore took quite a spill on a wet hill this past summer. That was scary to watch, but fortunately he was okay. He was pretty muddy afterwards. But we don't want any people slipping and falling, and certainly not anyone getting hurt. So that might be one option for everyone.
I get mine at Dunham's. You know, I think they're $20, you know, full price. You can always get them, you know, on sale when they're on sale. And generally, whenever they're on sale, I buy another pair. And then when I'm done using them for rating, they become lawn mowing shoes or whatever. But they seem to work well. They keep my feet dry, and they don't leave marks on the greens. But you do have to be careful on slopes, as Hunter can verify. I did have a slide at Indian Hills this last year. So
Yeah, and Mark fell. Where was that? Maybe Copper Hills, or I can't remember where it was, but it was coming off from one of the tees, and it was just slippery, and that grass is wet in the morning. Boy, you can really go flying. So
check that. It was Kyle that can verify that for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is, if the course has hills in its name, don't rate it, because you might fall down. Because both of those slip and falls were at courses with hills in their name in it. So
yeah.
But really, any type of shoe will do. Golf shoes, tennis shoe, if you want to get the kind of duck boot thing at Dunham's or whatever, or Crocs, like Lori said. It's really up to you. Just whatever is comfortable, but just keep in mind it is wet in the morning. So if you don't have a good waterproof shoes, you're going to have some wet socks. There was one more question about where we can find the volunteer apparel. It's there's a link on the volunteer website. If you log into your GAM account and go to the course rating volunteer page, there's a link there on how to get some course rating volunteer clothes. And we can we'll be sending that out multiple times this year as well. All right, well, I think that's it for now. We're really looking forward to the season, and in the coming weeks, we'll get more into the discussion on the book. But appreciate everyone joining us today, and we will. I know Hunter, myself, and Theo will stay on the line if there's any other questions that people want to ask later. Be happy to do that. But appreciate all of your support, and we're looking forward to a great 2022 season. Thanks.